Hello, welcome. I'm Dian Griesel. This is the Silver Disobedience Perception Dynamics podcast. And today we're going to be talking about our environments, our immediate environments, and how those environments might be impacted right from the very inside, our most intimate environments, to come outside. It's an interesting concept, and Kim Depole is my guest. She is an interior designer who has, I almost think that's not an accurate term. So we're going to let her describe exactly who she is, what she does, and where she gathers her inspiration from. So thank you very much.
Such a pleasure to
Kim.
be here. Such a pleasure.
You know, you've said some interesting things that I picked up on your website about the need to go outside before we go inside.
No,
Or
it's
is
the
it to go
it's to
inside
go
to go
inside
outside?
before you go
Okay,
outside.
because part of me says, are you picking up the environment outside to then create your internal environment?
Oh, interesting.
Or is that you really need to understand who you are before you can create that external?
Absolutely. So it really stems from your intention. So, and where do you tap into your intention, into the deepest part of yourself?
How do you define intention?
Intention is what brings you joy, what sustains you, the clarification of what that is in terms of intending to surround yourself with beauty, intending to be compassionate and loving. It's the center of your heart. It's the very center of your being.
Now, how does that center our intention, in your perspective, apply to creating our ideal environment?
I think what's really imperative is to go from the when I say from the inside out is the experience of closing your eyes and visualizing what you want to create. So it's sort of the source, the power source of your creativity. So that's where it stems. And, whether it's the expression of your heart or your joy. But that really is, to me, the North Star of the beginning.
It's so interesting. One of the reasons I wanted to speak with you, and I've had lots of people who say they're interior designers reach out, but well, first of all, you've got a very warm personality. You've got a lovely way about you. You bought me lovely flowers. There's great flowers here. always a way to my heart, flowers. But one of the things was, when I think of interior designers, a lot of interior designers have a style that they're known for.
Yes.
And sometimes I've had different friends say, well, I hired this interior designer and just look at their work. I'm like, well, that's really beautiful. But knowing you, I can't imagine you living there in a million years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where are you going to put those things you love?
Exactly.
They just are not going to fit. So that's where your route of going to intention intrigued me.
Yes.
I want to hear more about this.
Well, I've been, I'm a day older than water, so I've been doing interior design for silver, but it's never quite silver. So I had a whole career of designing homes and corporate environments, and what always appealed to me, and my main design feature was my ear. Listening.
How do you mean that?
Listening and looking for cues, because a lot of the clients didn't have that kind of confidence in expressing their creativity or in what they loved. If they wanted a designer that was a status designer that only wants to buy a label of this or that, I was not their designer. And so whenever I'd go on interviews, I would say, what number am I? If I'm number 1 interview, please have at least 3 more, because this is so personal. This is so intimate that I am not going to impose my design aesthetic on you. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to educate you and bring things, to widen your experience. But It's my ear. It's my eye and my ear in terms of the listening to what they love. So that's been sort of the trajectory. And what's really fascinating about this part of my life, I have to be honest with you, is I closed the big design studio, said no to all the developers and corporate stuff. And I did some really deep spiritual work. And what's a little ironic is I've been meditating since I was 17 years old, and I was very secretive about it. But what I would do when I'd finish a job, I would go in and I would meditate in the house or the room, and I would put that intention of what I would hope. It was like my way to do a puja, a blessing. And be very intentional and sacred about it. But I wouldn't tell anybody. And even in my office with the other designers, it's like, where's Kim? Oh, she's in the library closet, meditate. Like, don't touch her for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So I was so secretive about it. And then I had—
Why were you secretive about it?
Because I felt people wouldn't understand. I think it was like before yoga, everybody knows about yoga and everybody's, so evolved in that way. And it was like my little secret or just private treasure. And so I don't think
Now,
I was—
were you working on your energy in the space? Were you trying to connect with the energy of the space? Was this before starting the job, during it, after?
All three.
All three.
All three.
Interesting.
All three. Because for me, interior design, the container of your home is about what? Isn't everything energy? Is it expansive? Is it contractive? Is it intimate? Is it welcoming? I mean, you know that instinctually when you meet somebody, there's a certain simpatico straight away. So that's how I am with the containers of home. There's nothing more revealing than to go to someone's home.
That's very true. Or look at their bookshelf.
Or look at their bookshelf. Or their closet. Or their shoes.
Oh, I don't even want to go into what my closet might say about me.
Let's not even open that door. Let's keep that door closed.
Very interesting. Is container a word that you coined?
I don't know. I mean, that's a word I use quite often now. Yeah.
It's an interesting phrase to refer to the home as your container of your life.
I think it's because everybody's so obsessed with decluttering. And so I don't use that decluttering. I say curating. It's curating.
That's
what's
a much
around
more
you.
positive
Yeah, it's less
way
negative.
to look at something.
Nobody ever wants to hear that. And then the other thing is I've also started, I mean, my goodness, I studied Feng Shui. I think her name was Sarah Ross back, 30 years ago, first came and introduced it to Western culture. And now everybody's got a Feng Shui, shingle. But I studied that and it was interesting to see how I would do those things just naturally, intuitively. And I still, follow those tenets of the first thing in your home, make sure every corner is not cluttered. The corners. And how many, if you think about it, you go, let me think about that bedroom. Yeah, Kim, you're right. In that corner, I have, blah, 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 blah.
Why don't you clutter corners?
Because it stops the energy from flowing within the space. The same way you don't block a door. Same way you don't block a window. Same concept. But it's practical. I mean, didn't your mother say clean your room? I mean, and make sure you get to the corners. I mean, it's right. If you think about it, it's pretty basic.
When you meet with a client or somebody who's saying, I want to, it wasn't declutter, I want to curate. I want to curate my home, which is a very opening statement, What are the first things you're listening to them?
Right.
But are you asking them particular questions for them to think about?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always, I mean, especially now with apartments and homes being a little more spatially compromised or even too big, so that you have that other challenge, is always what's happening in this space. What are you asking this space to do? Because it needs to do a lot of work for you. It needs to function as what? So I make them list their priorities for the room. I recently worked with a client that had a little bit of a capital H hoarding issue in her creative studio, so to speak. And so it's like, okay, what do you want to do in this space? Oh, I just want to sit at the desk, and then I want to work on this kind of project. I want to be able to write a letter, but I also want to organize my bills. And so then it's like, okay, so let's focus on the desk. Let's focus on the chair. Let's focus on the comfort. Now, what inspires you? What do you want to surround yourself with? When you look up, what is the touchstone of your heart, your history, that you want to look at that and say, oh, that's a picture of my dear Aunt Emily that I just want to be able to, look at her sweet face and remember all of the time I had with her. So it's really, sort of pinpointing the essential elements that are really important to her. And then we kind of build from there. But they have to do the work. I mean, I'm not, it's like, okay, yes, no. And then there was something somebody shared with me that was so interesting about that issue of curating, because I don't like to say the D word, is to do whatever you bring in your house. If you bring one thing in your house, you take 3 things out. You do, I mean, that's a little brutal. I try to do that myself. Or in 30 days, you're removing something, one each day. And then you like sort of stick to it. But whatever works, whatever magical elixir has you like clean the space is really is what's key.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. A few years ago, I moved into a new office space, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
There's me, my desk, my computer. Then all of a sudden, the mail started to get added, and some of the things I had to file, or some of the things I had to look at another day. And about a year later, I'm looking around saying, what happened to this space? Like, it was so free and easy. And then it's amazing how life fills in space.
It is, and it's never one and done. I mean, I'm guilty of the same. Absolutely. It's time for a little bit of purging here, Yeah.
What's the first reaction when you talk to someone about not purging, not decluttering,
yes,
curating? Is there a defense mechanism that goes up?
It depends.
Or is there an openness?
There's an openness because, they've reached out. They want to be better. It's the same reason you go to you have a little bit too much in the middle and you want a trainer to help you, or it's the same way that you seek help or some insight to realize what you're not able to realize on your own.
Now, are you working like as a stylist that doesn't just go to the store? You go through someo's home maybe and curate it and say, listen, this is a great piece. Keep this one.
Oh, always.
This should go or this should change. What does that process look like?
That process, I mean, it depends on what the client wants and what they prefer. Right away, I'll say, what piece in your home is a non-negotiable that this must be here? So tell me what that is now. So I'm prepared. I know where to place it. I know the level of importance. Some people want a fresh start. Some people don't want to come with a single thing, which is always shocking to me. But it's like, okay, let's, that's fabulous. Let's start from zero. So it really depends on where they are and what they prefer. It's not me imposing that. It's a conversation. It's an unfolding. And like I said, there is nothing more intimate than creating someone's home, really. Nothing more intimate.
And it's funny what you say, because I've been both kinds of movers. I've moved in the past 40 years about, no exaggeration, 25 times.
Wow.
And I'll go places and I'll say, that's a really nice couch. And somebody will say, are you kidding me? You gave me that couch. I'm like, oh, no wonder I like it. But I moved so many times, I genuinely don't remember. My brother recently reminded me.
That's extraordinary.
Who lives in Arizona, that he said, I finally just recently got rid of that that leather couch and recliner you gave me, I'm like, oh my gosh, what move or year was that? Like, what was I doing that you have a couch and chair in Arizona? Like, and I never
Wow.
lived there. So sometime he took it out of an apartment I had in New York City.
That's
So I'm like,
hilarious.
but it's an interesting thing, going into a brand new space,
Yeah.
versus saying, here I am, how can I change this space for the better or for my evolving personality?
Right. And what was interesting, I had clients I've been working with for literally decades, and they wanted to create their dream apartment in Paris. And so, of course, I had the history and language of their aesthetic that I developed in the Hamptons and Manhattan, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, what is this? So I came up with a scheme, and they're like, absolutely not. And they said, you're going to go to the Baccarat Museum, Kim, and you're going to walk around there and you're going to get inspiration because we want fantasia, we want French, we want, sexy, wild. This is like, and so how fun was that project?
Yeah.
How fun was that? But then still, adhering to like, Louis XIV traditional chair that was cast in aluminum that I got from a dealer in Brazil. And then I covered the chair in the fabric from the Louvre that I researched that was of that period and literally the same manufacturer. So in that way, it was such an act of creativity to be able to express, this wish they had. And they, it was a glorious project. Amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's got to be a lot of fun.
It was so fun. And everybody says, what do you do? And when I tell them what I do, they're like, oh, I've always wanted to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
what do you do? If we were in an elevator, if we tried to, give the 1-minute pitch before the elevator lands in the lobby.
Yeah. Wow,
How would you
it's
define
tough.
you?
Well, you're
'Cause
really
you've got a
putting
lot of
me on the
interest.
Yeah, you really put me on the spot there. Well, to tell you the truth, now I've been doing a lot of teaching meditation because I'm looking for the entry point of modeling the meditation experience with how you create your home. So, and then also I feel the need to serve a larger audience. I feel very strongly about social impact. And portion of whatever I'm making is going to Habitat for Humanity. So how do I integrate that fully? So I still put on yes, I'm an interior designer, but as a result of working with me, the minute you open your front door, you feel energized and have entered your personal oasis. What I do is help you get there on that journey of creating that experience. That's what I do. And you look confused.
No, not at all. That sounds very intimate. I'm trying to figure out how that process would unfold if someone said to you tomorrow or this afternoon, Kim, I'm moving into a new place or I want to redo my home. Would you say, well, let's meditate on that?
No, I would have a discovery call. So
okay. I'm trying to figure out the process.
I have to meet them where they are.
Got it.
Now, maybe I find somebody that is in the same alignment as I.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't.
Got it.
Maybe I don't. So that's my challenge. That's really testing my service. That's really testing my commitment to service, isn't it? So that's kind of the process I'm going through now. I mean, I have a recent a project I'm going to go be seeing tomorrow, and I'm in such alignment with the two owners that it would be an incredible experience if we proceed with that. I'm trying to think, and I have to say lately, they've all been pretty harmonic in that way. I'm trying to think of a situation where I retracted, and because I always want to help. I always
Mhm.
see what's possible. My big skill is I can go into any space and go, it's like my superpower, and
Mhm.
just scan the room and say, if you move that over there and you do that here. That's why nobody wants me to go over their house, because
Mhm.
it's like, oh no, Kim's coming. But it's like, but I'm not that way at all.
Right.
It's just I see what could be improved.
Right.
It's this obsession with making it better,
Mhm.
more functional, more beautiful, bringing that awareness.
What happens with all the stuff that you get people to remove?
Oh, donation. Housing Works, there was a wing in Housing Works,
Mm.
and there was an organization called Material for the Arts when I was doing larger
Mhm.
construction projects. I think I had a wing at the warehouse because they would take things like the masonite that was covering the floor, the cabinet, leftover paints for artists, because
Wow.
my other part of my secret life was, the whole time I was doing my business, I was working in tandem with a nonprofit art gallery. So art has always been, central to my heart. So there's always like, oh, let's go take care of the artists now. Come on,
Mhm.
don't throw that away. Like somebody can utilize that. So
How does design differ in your mind for working with an individual client versus a corporate?
well, I've done a lot of corporate work. It
Mhm.
depends on how it's structured. Am I reporting directly to the CEO is always ideal.
Mhm.
Or am I assigned to a group of editors? I did a lot of work for Simon and Schuster.
Mhm.
And that was a challenge because each floor is different. And I remember that boardroom. Oh my God, I didn't know that there are tables that big. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And so that was a challenge, to sort of please everybody's agenda, so to speak, with a one-on-one person. And then also couples. How interesting is that?
Mm.
Absolutely. So then right away, first question, how do you make your decisions?
Right.
Who's in charge? Who's signing the checks? If you
Do you
disagree,
get accurate answers?
I you not yeah, at the beginning it's like
I'm in charge.
I'm
But hold on,
recording.
I'll ask her later.
Exactly. Oh,
Or I'll ask him
I
later.
get all kinds of variations on that one. Yes.
I bet.
Absolutely. But generally, it fascinates me to see
Uh-huh.
how that, because each time is completely, absolutely different. Each couple is unique and idiosyncratic, and there's not ever one type
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of psychology that goes into that.
Oh, yes, indeed.
I mean, I know if someone walked into any place I've ever gone to look at, let's say with my husband, his first focus is on, well, where can we comfortably have a TV? And then where would the Christmas tree go around Christmas time? So that's his first focus. Mine is, where are the books going to go?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
where are my
Yes.
books going to go? And yeah, where's the Christmas tree going to go that it's comfortable?
That's so interesting because it's, what, if I think back, most of the men will ask that question because they're the one that has to engineer the tree in the apartment or the house. No, you're absolutely right. That's really fun. That's a great title for a book. Where should the Christmas tree go?
It's funny. We have ruled out more than, when we were looking at houses a few years ago, we ruled out more than one place because it's like, this room, there's just no place to put a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Oh,
So if we're going to have people over and we're going to be sitting around, what are we going to have, the Christmas tree in the other room? We can't do that because I throw a Christmas party every year. So it's
that
like,
is
I cannot have
is
the
hilarious.
Christmas tree.
Well, there's suspending it from the ceiling. I mean, that's the other.
I have seen those
Yes,
people that do that. That's hilarious.
I know. I mean, it's a little rough where you're putting the gifts, but what are you going to mount them on the ceiling on the, there's that whole other concept. But yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. What are the primary things people ask you when they're starting this kind of process?
How much is it going to cost? Am I going to go bankrupt?
Okay, those are good questions.
You
Just
know what?
in perspective wise,
Yeah.
how does an interior designer get paid?
Oh, it depends. I'm very transparent. I always have from day one, because my mother always said, Kim, when you wake up in the morning, you look at the mirror, you have to own who you are and your integrity. So don't you ever forget that.
Are we twins?
Yeah.
Are we twins that had
I don't
somehow
know.
had the same mother?
I come
My
from
mother would always say, integrity. You walk into this world with one name.
Yeah.
You want to make sure it's unblemished when you leave.
Right.
And that's your integrity.
Did she ever say the one where if you say something bad, it's placed right on your head for everyone to see? Like when you do something, and it's so like when I do that, I have this and I love to wear hats. So it's sort of like,
it's somewhere
what's on
under
my
there.
head? It's under my hat.
No, her other big one was know thyself. And I mean, she embroidered it and it hung over the door as you walked out. One door had know thyself. The other door had an embroidered sign that said, today is a gift.
Wow.
And I cannot tell you how many times I wanted to smack her with the sign that said, know thyself. When I would get angry about something and go to blame it on someone, and she'd say, Diane, know thyself.
Wow. Italian mother?
No.
Oh.
Irish and Lithuanian.
Oh, wow. That's even more. Maybe I was adopted. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay. So you're transparent, but how does that work? Is
Okay,
it
so
time,
everybody
materials,
works.
or,
Everybody works differently. So it's always, a free discovery call to see if I'm the right one and answer any questions. And then it's what's the scope of work, and then I do like probable budget, so to speak. Give me the dream, give me the ideal, give me the here's my magic wand. Go for it. And so I'll outline it, and then I'll give a probable cost budget range based on other projects. And then what I'll do is I'll base it on my time for it as a lump sum, as, figuring out the time. But I'll also put, if it exceeds the scope of work, this is what the hourly is, and then all the other expenditures. As far as purchasing go, I'm very transparent, because there's trade-only resources at like 200 Lux, D&D. I don't do that hide and bait and switch. Here's the price, wholesale, and here's my fee on top of that. You're getting discounted this percentage. Why aren't I getting the whole discount? Well, because I have to buy it, I have to do this, I have to do that, blah, 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 blah. So that's how the whole... that's how the whole Mishigas works.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Now, do you get hired by people that say, I just want you to, I don't want you to add. I want you to subtract.
Oh, interesting. I wish. No.
No.
Never.
Because speaking with you, it seems like that would be a big area of your business. And I would think a growing area, because there's an older population.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm, almost 65, and, we've got, kids around still now, but they're leaving. So many things you look around and you say, how could this space be different now that you don't have 4 people or 5 people or however many families, and they say, I just want to.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole empty nester model and such.
And I would think that's a big business for you.
Oddly enough, I haven't done any of that.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised myself.
How you're describing yourself.
Right. Interesting. No, I haven't. It's so funny, because on my Instagram and all those other things, and I look at my demographic, it's always like, 30, 40, 50. And I'm like, well, where's my people? How come I'm not appealing enough to them?
Well, probably this is where you walk into a house and you can't, not figure out how to modify it or change it or tweak it or make it more comfortable. I look at any business and I'm like, well, how could that business get be tweaked?
Yeah.
And, knowing you and, what I read online, and when you say really your business stops at 50, because kind of like if I look back at my life, up until age 50, I was more in accumulation mode. I was adding things. I would see something and say, oh, that would look great. Now that I'm 65 and I say, well, let's say I live another 10 years, maybe I live another 20 years.
More than that, dear.
Well, whatever. I could die tomorrow. I could get hit by a taxi this afternoon. I'm very fatalist, like in that way. And it doesn't bother me. That's not morbid in any way.
Right.
But what I look at is I think, what would my kids be like if all the stuff that was here was here?
Right. Exactly.
At any point, and maybe it's because, 4 years ago, my mother died. And prior to my mother dying, I'm very much like her. There was not an empty space in my mother's house. My parents had no money, but everyone thought we lived in a museum. My mother would go buy furniture and she would refinish herself. I remember being humiliated as a kid when she would see something on the side of the road, and she always traveled with a metal nail file.
To know it, yeah.
And she would say, Diane, I'm just pulling over a second to scrape it to see if it's oak underneath that paint.
Wow.
And I'd be like, Mom, somebody from school is going to see me. They're going to know we're garbage pickers. It was like, it was more than my ego could handle as a kid. And yet she would find that piece. She was not hesitate to walk up to someone's door. I saw you had that piece in your garbage for a week. Do you mind if I take it?
Traumatizing for you.
But I ended up doing the same thing to our kids when they were little. And I would give them $1 and say, we're going to go treasure hunting today. Because years ago, I bought Alice Cooper's mansion up in Copake, New York. And it was this huge old mansion. I got it at a great buy. And, but it was empty and it was big. It was like over 10,000 square feet and it had nothing in it. And I was relatively new in my business. And so I'm like, shoot, now that I bought this place for a song, I don't have the money to furnish it.
And you're like, Ma.
Once I pay the oil bill, I'm feeling broke. And I didn't keep it that long because once the tax bill came in for the second year in a row, I'm like, okay, one thing is buying a mansion. The other is maintaining a mansion.
Keeping the mansion. Absolutely.
But I would say on Saturday mornings to our kids, at first it was our daughter, I've got $1 for you. We're going to go treasure hunting. And we'd go out to all the yard sales and find all these treasures.
Wow. Wonderful.
And she'd come back with $1 because everyone was like, oh, she's so cute. I just gave it to her. But, that's how we furnished for years.
Uh-huh.
And now I think, oh my gosh, there's just a lot here. It's got sentimental value. But so I was saying when my mother died, about 2 years before my mother died, she got back down to Florida and her humidifier had broken. So there was mold everywhere.
Oh God. Then you have to throw everything out.
That's what she did.
So
when I had gone down to see her house a few months later, I'm like, I didn't even recognize it. The walls were white. I'm like, wow, there's nothing on the walls. There's no things. I mean, she would get the old post office boxes and fill all the slots with little things. Like it was really cool.
Yeah.
So very shocking to see it empty. But that's what when she died, I remember thinking, I'm kind of glad my mother got rid of everything. Because what would I have done with it? I mean, I have 5 brothers and sisters, but I pretty much handled the getting rid of everything.
Yeah.
So as you get older, so that was kind of a long mini monologue in the middle of your interview.
That's right.
But you never know how these are going to go, Kim. But it really, I look at you and your business and your capabilities, and I think, I could see you as someone who really built a whole new branch of your business on curating. Let me curate your environment for your 60s.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend who just moved out of one apartment and moved in a 2-bedroom apartment because she's single and has had a humongous business over the years, but she is single. And she's like, if I ended up needing an aide, I can't have them in my 1-bedroom. So I'm going to switch, I'm going to switch up my super high rise, that I know I can sell for X. And I'll go into a lesser expensive apartment, but I'll have 2 bedrooms. But then I'm going to redo everything. I'm going to get rid of all this part of my life.
Right. No, absolutely. It's like hitting the refresh. That's an interesting idea. I mean, just last year, I was asked, a really dear client of mine passed away, a developer, and it was one of my, I always say one of my favorite projects, but it was a amazing triplex in the West Village.
Mm-hmm.
And we fitted it out with just amazing furniture and stuff. And his wife is like, Kim, my kids don't want anything.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I'm like, are you kidding? There's an Andy Warhol print on the wall. I would be coveting that. And so it was really hard to take the contents of that house and then sell it at auction and help her, deacquisition and stuff. And it was emotionally really difficult for me because I had put my heart into collaborating with them to do it and then to dismantle it. So I think that's why I did a lot of internal work after that experience, because it's important for me to find the joy every day, to be intentional with really improving people's lives. But I'll think about that. I mean, that's
there
a whole
are different
other...
phases of life.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many different phases, and I, as Josh, who's our engineer here, could tell you, I often talk about death because maybe it'll bother me the day it's happening, but
or maybe you won't know.
Doesn't, or maybe I won't know. But I really look at it as such an essential part of understanding life.
Yes.
And if you acknowledge that, there is that time when you're not going to be here and you have all these things that you've collected, and it's not to be morbid, but do your kids want them? There are articles every day in the newspaper that kids are saying, don't leave me your house either.
They don't want it. Yeah.
And part of that is expense. It's different lifestyles. It's commuting. It's, are we moving more urban, or can we live someplace because of the internet?
Right.
And what are the things we want? I mean, I know when our kids were little, they had toys, but I couldn't wait to get rid of every single plastic toy that was in, or anything plastic, like get it out of here.
Especially now. I mean, there is this whole thing about even Ziploc. There's some class action suit with Ziploc bags. You can't put food, or it's like, what else? My goodness.
Yeah. We're going to get rid of Ziploc bags. We're going to get rid of the bags at the grocery store. And then we're going to get these like plastic bags that we're going to use that the handles fall off.
Yeah.
And they're even harder to decompose because they're supposed to last. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's
whole other topic.
It's truly insane.
But okay, so you said most of your clients tend to be under 50. How do you think someone in their first home versus their second or third home or apartment views what you do differently?
Oh, completely differently. I think that's so interesting. Like, now you're making me do a little self-reflection. Like, am I avoiding that kind of working in that way because I'm in that demographic myself, and I am, have the same challenges because I am a little bit of a book obsessed woman, and there's more books in my house than the New York Public Library. But, I think when I love working with younger people because there's just it's a blank slate, so to speak. And if I could, and always, how long are you going to live here is always the first question.
Interesting question.
How long are you going to live here is the most pivotal question, because invariably, if you're going to move, then every choice we make, I think design-wise, needs to be spatially efficient, easy to move, modular in some capacity. So if you want to add to it later to have it be more functional, you would do that. So to me, it's like a more interesting, because to me, it's all design problems, isn't it? It's spatial problems, it's color, it's aesthetics. So it's the figuring out the design part is always what I love. That's exciting to me.
It's such an interesting question to say, how long are you going to live here? Because I've moved a lot.
God, you've moved a tremendous amount.
Lot. And I think every place I went into, I thought, oh, this is it. But for whatever reason, I ended up moving
How were your kids with all those different moves?
There were times that I think they didn't love it. And there were times they said, how could you, we don't have a stable home. I said, well, you have a stable family.
Yeah.
And families move. Like, look at what the military does. I mean,
Exactly.
my sister and her husband, who, is a retired vice admiral, their kids went to 18 different schools.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a very different kind of move. Like, a lot of my moves, I mean, I didn't get married till I was 40, or the marriage I have these children with. And
Wow, inherited.
and so a lot of the moves were prior,
Oh,
and
okay.
then moves with our children. Yeah, there were probably 5, so significant.
Yeah.
And then homes that we bought as second homes. Maybe we loved Pennsylvania for a while, then decided, no, we have friends moving into Connecticut. Let's go move to
Right.
Northwest Connecticut. And then it was, no, let's try seeing what the beach would be like for a while.
Interesting. That's
So when it came to
fascinating.
second homes, moving all over the place.
And you did them all yourself. You never
Yeah.
asked. Wow, interesting. And you loved everyone, that you liked what you did?
Yeah. And all
So-
extremely different.
Brava. I mean, that's what I say. It's like self-empowerment. It's, I think that's wonderful.
But I'm fascinated, I've always been fascinated with the idea of having someone help you with that process.
Right.
I mean, in many ways, if anything, probably it's now is the first time in my life I'm thinking about, I just don't know if I could do this myself, to try to figure out
Interesting. Yeah.
the releasing process.
Uh-huh. Yeah. See, but for me now, at this part of my life, the meditation part's really essential. And I need it to be part of it. So with that insight that you've given me, which I appreciate greatly, I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about, is that a better way for me to serve?
Mhm.
And I mean, I did another project recently where the woman's husband was quite ill, and I had to make his bedroom ADA and have him come back from the hospital. And
That's a whole business.
that's
unto
a whole,
itself.
yeah. So, and I like variety. I mean, that's why I chose this profession, because it's every job is different. Everything is like, there's no rinse and repeat in my life. So, and it's challenging and it's rewarding. I mean, you're making someone's life, different and joyful. And I love, like, when usually, especially like a young client comes in and sees their apartment for the first time, I do like the Oprah moment where we open the door and they, all of that, and just build up that excitement for them, having their first apartment.
One of the things I think is always interesting is, because I've moved a lot and invested in places and then sold them or moved in them, I spend a lot of time looking at places, looking at, could I imagine living here? Or what does this house look like? Or what's this apartment looking like? Do I want to move again? Because part of why I move is partly a decluttering thing. It forces me to get rid of everything. But I've been in the space we're in almost 10 years.
You can't bear painting the one you're in. So, we'll just move.
No, I just seem to add to it, but I'm looking at a move sometime in the next year or so. But one of the things that fascinates me is when people talk about, the color of the year, or
oh God,
silver
Oh,
knobs
Lord.
are in, or gold knobs are in. The other day, my husband was watching something. It was so hilarious. It was in an episode for Better Call Saul, and they're in some like abandoned mansion, which is hilarious, very modern for the time period that show takes place during, I guess, which is the 70s or 80s. But the hilarious thing, he goes, oh my God, Diane, look at this. And there's a bathroom scene, and it has this bathroom faucet that was in this house we bought one time.
Oh, stop it.
And one day, one of the bathroom faucets, it was a double sink.
Uh-huh.
And one of the bathroom faucets stopped working, and we had to replace it. And my husband finds it online, and it's like $4,000 to replace this. So we're looking at this show. It's bringing back trauma, because I'm like, in my life, I would never have spent $4,000
no.
if I was the one building out that bathroom. But it just happened to be in the bathroom when we got it. So what do you have to say to the trends of, gold and brass are in this year, or silver's in this year? Because you look at an old movie, and they're so dated by whatever somebody thought was the style
Well,
for
see,
whatever reason.
so my mantra is to create timeless design. What I consider those are moments in time.
Oh,
So if somebody's
exactly.
like, I want all my fixtures to be black. I want the shower head. I want this. I want everything. I go, and you know I like black. I said, moment in time. No. Stainless it's a classic. There's classics. I mean, you could walk into a Frank Lloyd Wright design and it feels contemporary. You could walk into an Eames showroom. You go to Design Within Reach, and not like you have to be, loving mid-century modern, ad nauseum, not at all, but classic. I also love French period. I love beautiful molding. I love, that's not a moment in time. That's classic design. There's a difference.
It's so funny. You really triggered another memory.
I'm bringing up all this trauma.
Oh my gosh. No, a place we rented in Northwest Connecticut on Lake Warramug that, people call Goldman Sachs North. We rented this house. But I used to prep people before they would come visit. I'm like, listen, we have a 3-year rental on this house. It's right on the lake. It's spectacular. It was a really big house, had 6 bedrooms. But it had the orange bathroom. I mean, I had never seen an orange toilet or sink in my life.
I don't think
I have. It had the red bathroom that had the red sink, the red toilet, and the red tub. I'm like, oh my gosh, if this place ever comes up for sale, I'm buying it and keeping the color. I'd change everything else, but I got to save these fixtures because they're hilarious. It had a navy blue bathroom that had the navy blue tiles in the shower, the navy blue sink,
Everything in the room was the same color?
No. Just
it was just like
the shock
portions. I mean, I can't imagine
like it was hilarious.
The throne being orange in any
orange
in any universe.
Day glow orange, kind of like a burnt orange, but like vibrant orange.
Wow, that's crazy.
And of course, it had the green countertops and the mustard refrigerator.
I'm feeling a little nauseous right now.
It was like this outtake from the 1970s, and the shag carpet that we had replaced. I'm like, okay, I'm renting in there for 3 years.
Oh my God.
Replace the carpet throughout the house. But those snapshots in time, as you talk about, some are hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. But actually, a lot of them are people like bad taste. There's a whole movement of embracing bad taste. I mean, there's a whole
very funny.
There's a whole aesthetic of that. There's a whole book about that. It's people that love like very eccentric kind of design. I mean, it's all.
I did love the red tub.
Yeah.
I mean, it was classic. But our kids took tubs in there.
but think about because I study all the chakras and the meaning. Now it's pretty profound that it's a red tub because red is your base of your body. That's your foundation. So that's actually really interesting. I think there's going to be a new
trend
movement, not
tubs.
A moment in time, but of red tubs. I kind of loving that. But the orange toilet, no.
Oh, that was weird.
I say no.
Yeah, the orange toilet and the orange sink were like, oh my God.
I hope you have
horrific.
Pictures. I want to see pictures of this.
I wonder if I do. I don't know. I'm usually the one taking the pictures.
Yeah.
That's what my kids will say. Mom, we don't have any pictures of you from this time period. I'm like, because I was the one behind the camera. The one remembering that picture moment where we needed to take your picture 100 times.
Exactly. Treasuring you in that moment.
Oh my gosh. Time goes too fast on these podcasts.
It does.
So what would be your parting words, only for this episode, of the design takeaway you would want somebody to think about before they enter any designing experience? What are the most important things somebody should consider?
Number one is always the choice of where your home is and how long you're going to be there. Number two, be really clear on how you live in the home. Is it just you? If it's your partner, that you're in sync, and with your children, you're in sync. It's all about the conversation. It's not about picking out a single thing. It's about being in alignment with everybody in terms of what they prefer. And then also, very important to me is creative expression, not just to go with what you see on the internet or in the magazine. It's okay if you love it, but okay, maybe just that sofa, maybe that chair, but not that whole ensemble room all done with no expression. I mean, how many magazines look so the same? It's just, and now it's the maximalist trend, so to speak, where it's more and more and more, and then it's like a little too much.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, with
We're in
pattern,
a maximalist trend.
it's really it's swinging, because doesn't it have to? It's like anything else. It's the stock market, it's the level of the hems of your dress, right? All influenced by that, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So yeah. So I would say, that's really, it's the communication, it's the planning, it's the intention, and to be really kind with yourself. If you make a mistake, basically, go back, be forgiving and be flexible and test things out. Don't think I'm just going to finish it all. No, it's layering. It's like, let me add this sofa. Oh, I love that sofa, but I'm not sure about those chairs yet. So let me just wait and see. And I'm a big proponent of vintage, of buying at auctions, because I get such better quality. The wood is real wood. And then I love upholstery. I love window treat. I love all of that layering. So it's, to consider all that, and not just to be like everybody else. It's your container is the expression of who and what you love. So why not, elevate it to the highest level?
That's a great closing, Kim.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much for joining me.
So much fun. It went way too fast.
It does. It does.
So
it
fast.
Really does. Well, I have been speaking with Kim Depole, who can help you curate your home. She is really fabulous. She's shared tons of great ideas in this podcast. So there'll be all kinds of contact information for her below in the descriptor here. So please do check her out and stay in touch with her. I'm Dian Griesel. This has been the Silver Disobedience Perception Dynamics podcast. We're recording here in Manhattan Center, which is always a treat and a treasure. And Kim, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It was incredible. So
I really
fun.
appreciate it. And thank you for the beautiful flowers.
Enjoy.
Okay. Take care, everybody. Please hit subscribe.